The other day, I'm looking through my YouTube channel trying to figure out what the next recipe is going to be, and I realized I've never made pancakes in the 5 years I've been on YouTube. I'm going to show you guys how to make the most delicious, crispy edge, fluffy pancakes you've ever had in your life. Meet me in the kitchen, let's make it happen. All right guys, before we get started, let's figure out what makes a good pancake. In my opinion, it has to have crispy edges. It needs to be moderately fluffy, but not like IHOP. I'm not a big fan of IHOP. Let me know in the comments what your favorite restaurant is for pancakes. If you ask me, I think Cracker Barrel has the best. You get the warm syrup, you get the nice buttermilk pancakes with the crispy edges. That's kind of the technique I'm going for today. I'm going to show you guys how to do everything from scratch, and we're going to make a delicious berry compote to go with it. All right guys, so for the berry compote, super simple. This is one way that you can elevate a lot of your desserts or breakfast foods, and it only takes a few ingredients. Whatever berries you like. Today we have strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries. We're going to chop down those strawberries because they're larger than the blueberries and the raspberries. We're going to get them in a pot with a little sugar, a splash of water, some lemon zest, lemon juice, and just let it simmer 10 to 15 minutes until it breaks down. Now, if you want this to be very smooth, you can blend it in a food processor or a blender and then pass it through a mesh strainer and get a very smooth consistency, or you can leave it chunky. It kind of depends on what you're going for. For like a cheesecake topping, I would make it smooth. Something like pancakes, I'm going to leave it chunky. Same recipe applies though. You just might need to tweak, the way that you prepare it. Before our strawberries, we're going to cut the end piece off and then just, rough chop them, really. We just want them to be a little bit smaller. Think about, the size of a blueberry. That way they can cook down nicely, caramelize with that sugar. They're going to release a lot of their natural water that's in the berries. And that'll cook down. You're going to have a delicious berry compote that's going to be beautiful color for presentation, and it's going to taste good paired with the pancakes. All right guys, first thing we're going to do is go ahead and get our fruit in the skillet or pot, whatever you decide to use. Either one will get the job done. Medium heat. We're going to go in with our raspberries, our blueberries. I'm going to save some of these blueberries and some of the strawberries for additional garnish just in case we need it. But we're going to get most of them on in here as well. As always guys, the specific measurements and ingredients for this recipe can be found at mrmakeithappen.com. And with the fruit, 1/3 cup of white granulated sugar. Then we're going in with our lemon juice. Nice tablespoon or so. Splash of water. 1/2 tablespoon of vanilla extract. And a pinch of salt. And we're just going to cook this down. You can kind of mash it with a potato masher. Just let it cook down and reduce. It'll start to thicken up naturally. All right, people, now you can officially retire your boxed pancake mix because I'm going to show you how simple it is to make it right from the comfort of your own home. We do have a few things that we're going to use to elevate the flavor here that are optional, but the basic components are flour, baking powder, sugar, eggs, buttermilk, all very inexpensive and easy things to grab, or you probably already have in your refrigerator. So 2 eggs, 2 egg yolks. That's what we're getting the party started with. I like to just use the shell to separate the white and the yolk, or you can do it right by hand, either way. Real simple. There we go, 1 yolk. Boom. So, keep our trash bowl here. Keep everything flowing in the kitchen. Break out the whisk and mix those eggs and egg yolks together. We're going in with 1/3 cup of sugar. Don't short me on my diabetes now. Get all of that in there. And then we're going to add 1/2 of our flour and 1/2 of our buttermilk, along with one of the key ingredients here that give you the fluffiness. If you're a fluffy pancake lover, baking powder is the star of the show in the fluffy category. So, 1/2 of our flour, just going to eyeball it. 1/2 of our buttermilk. Then we'll get that baking powder in there. Make sure you hit the edges. At this point, once you get, you know, a good head start, I'm going to switch to a rubber spatula here in just a moment. That way you can kind of scrape the edges. Make sure you're not leaving nothing on the wall of the bowl here. You also want to be conscious to not overwork this or over mix it. You want it to be fluffy, but not crazy fluffy. So I'm going to retire the whisk, break out the rubber spatula and start to fold everything in. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and add in the remainder of the flour and the buttermilk. Just fold everything, mix to combine. I'm going to add in about a half a teaspoon of butter extract and 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. And the final secret ingredient is going to be a little bit of maple syrup that we'll add right at the very end. If you see some lumps, it's not the end of the world. Those will cook out during the cooking process. And actually add a little bit of like an air pocket to your pancakes, which are nice, which also help with the fluffiness. So lumps are not necessarily a bad thing. All right, guys, couple of pro tips here. We're gonna add a little avocado oil to our butter to help ensure the butter doesn't burn as rapidly. Another pro tip could be you could use clarified butter, which gets rid of the milk solids in the butter, leaving behind the butter flavor, but you know, doesn't burn as fast as regular butter. Kind of expensive though, so we're gonna go with, you know, the cheaper approach, which is butter and a little avocado oil or, you know, high smoke point oil that you might have in the house. You want to add a good amount of this. That way you can ensure you get those crispy edges. We're working over medium heat here. And another pro tip is to add your pancake batter to a measuring cup. That way you can just pour it in instead of trying to scoop it with like a, you know, 1 cup scoop, measuring cup sort of deal. I'm going to use the measuring cup, like the liquid measuring cup. All right, save that butter for later. And in goes our first batch. All right, guys, so as you can see, we have a beautiful color, nice crispy edges. You can see by the height that they're fluffy. If you got a little bit of a spread here, that's not necessarily a bad thing because those are going to crisp up nicely too. So we're working over medium-low heat now because I don't want my butter to completely burn. Give it a second or two and then kind of scrape up underneath. Just make sure everything's intact. But that, my friends, is a pretty pancake right there. So far, so good. All right, guys, we have our expert level pancakes plated up. We got a little berry compote, some warm syrup, a little powdered sugar for razzle dazzle, mint leaf, because why the hell not? We're here for a good time, not a long time. This is the part where I say brace yourself for a trademark money shot. Say it with me, guys. Looking good. The only thing left to do is dig in for the taste test. But before we do that, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications as well. All right, without further ado, I found my knife and my fork, and I am ready to dig in. Pancakes are like a guilty pleasure, like cheat meal. If I can sneak in a pancake, I never cut them like this, only for YouTube. But we're gonna try it out today. Get some of that compote. Quick reminder, guys, this recipe can be found at MrMakeItHappen.com along with all my other recipes. Get on in there, look at the fluffiness. Crispy, fluffy. Warm syrup. Let's see what we got. Oh my God. Damn. That's crazy. Y'all get in here and try this. Woo!
Okay, we lined up. Yep. Extra syrup in there. Damn. Mm-hmm. Slam dunk.
The best of both worlds right there. Crispy, fluffy.
Is there anything you want?